And I was like, he could win. So we need to register in places as Republicans to make sure he doesn't make it out of the primary. Because if he makes it out of the primary, he can beat Hillary Clinton. People thought I was crazy. And as a matter of fact, I got a lot of angry calls and people yelling at me. But I said, this is no longer about partisan politics. This is about identity. So what does it mean to be a Democrat today?
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will survive.
So I want to just jump in. They say you're a Democrat, and I've been having this fight since 2015. That when I started something called the Party of Lincoln, when I realized really early, because I'm from New Jersey, but I spent my career in New York at the New York Daily News for 16 years, that Donald Trump could win because the rest of the world is unfamiliar with him outside of being a celebrity apprentice guy or, on The Apprentice. And they like that. And he's been inculcated or indoctrinated into a lot of psyche through rap music and things. And I was like, he could win. So we need to register in places as Republicans to make sure he doesn't make it out of the primary. Because if he makes it out of the primary, he can beat Hillary Clinton. People thought I was crazy. And as a matter of fact, I got a lot of angry calls and people yelling at me. But I said, this is no longer about partisan politics. This is about identity. So what does it mean to be a Democrat today?
Well, I'm proud to be a Democrat. To me, I think it's about trying to lift everyone up and leave no one out. But when you look at my career, I think what you see is I'm a pragmatist. My job is to move our Kentucky families or our American families forward as fast and as far as I can. The things I'm most proud of have helped Republicans and independents as much as Democrats, because you run with the party, but you're supposed to govern for all your people. It's the thing that frustrates me most about Congress right now is you see the big ugly bill that went through. The person that pushed it through the House of Representatives is a Kentucky U.S. rep who has more rural hospitals in his district that are going to be hit. It eliminates the EV tax credits, and he has 3 of the biggest EV plants in the world. So somewhere along the line, for some, this stopped being about serving the people and ended up being more about serving your party, and that's just never been made.
Is it serving the party, Governor, or is it something else?
That's fair. It may be serving the president.
You interviewed Amy Klobuchar, Governor
Yes.
Klobuchar, and she talked about her granddad in the mines and her dad working as a newspaper guy. Mom's a teacher, and that's a very American background. Yours as well, mine as well. We're very American. Something has happened, and she talked about her the farmers voting, thinking that they were going to have a better economy, and I'm like, but you elected a 6-time bankrupter. Like, where was it? Like, this person, either they're very bad at business or their business is not paying people what they've contracted. So there's a character flaw here. What gave them the impression that the economy would get better, especially when you just laid out jobs were better under Biden Harris? The economy was booming. Wall Street was happy, which I'm surprised at Wall Street. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Unemployment was lower. Build Back Better was going to bring rural areas broadband and jobs and infrastructure, water pipes being replaced, all of that. New Deal, not New Deal, but it felt like a New Deal. The tech, with the wind and the solar in places like Vermont, booming businesses, taking people out of the coal mines, putting them in the next thing. What was that decision about?
Well, I think Donald Trump is president because he convinced the last group of undecided voters that he was more focused on helping them pay that next bill. And then he convinced them that the vice president was distracted by 100 of other issues. What you saw when that campaign was closing was the Democratic Party trying to send 50 different messages to 50 different subgroups, and Donald Trump talking about 1, 2, or 3 that impact everyone. And so if the Democratic Party has lost sight of something, it's that the core concerns of Americans aren't partisan. They're your job and whether you can support your family. They're your next doctor's appointment for yourself, your parents, or your kids. They're the roads and bridges you drive, the school you drop your kids off at, and whether you feel safe in your community. And so we saw, say, a lot of pro-choice voters voting for Donald Trump because they couldn't afford their kid's next prescription. And if you can't afford that, you'll vote for just about anybody if you believe that they are more focused on it. So what I think it means is the amount of time we spend talking about something is critically important, because that's how people see what our priorities are. But then when we have an opportunity to govern, how much time do we spend on it there? And that's where I think you see Donald Trump's approval ratings sliding very fast, because while he promised to be a president that would focus on affordability, he's done anything but. Your life is much harder right now because he's president.
Well, you and I share a faith. My Bible says you know a tree by the fruit that it bears. What I'm saying is this man's fruit has always been poison. It's always been not paying. It's always been charlatan behavior. It's always been lack of character. It's always been those things. So it's hard for me to reconcile. And we have to get this because we have a midterm election coming up.
We do.
I don't know if we're going to have another presidential election the way things are going, if I'm being honest. But right now, we all live somewhere. That's been my rallying cry. We all live somewhere. All politics is mostly local. We're going to have to figure out civically how to engage with our politicians. They're not our friends. We're not voting for people that we like, even though, you're a very likable person.
Well, thank you.
But we're not voting for that. We're voting for resources and rights. And can this person deliver? And if they never delivered it, why do we think that they can? And that has to be the drum beat that all politicians kind of.
That lane to victory is being a voice of common sense, finding some common ground, but then getting results. And people who right now struggle to pay the grocery bill also mean they can't pay for that vacation that the American dream says they should. That young couple can't afford a house at the same time that their parents could, and I can't imagine how that must make you feel on an emotional level, almost like you're failing. And so we've got to make sure that we are not only talking about, but providing real opportunity. I've been proud in Kentucky that we've secured a record amount of private sector investment. We've created a record number of jobs, but at the highest wages that we've ever announced. We've broken our exports record, our tourism record. And what you see right now is people there are optimistic. And so a Democratic governor in a state that went Trump plus 30 has a 68% approval rating. And I only throw out that number to say, if people believe that you are working really hard for them and they're seeing results, they'll vote for you. I've got one example. Now, there is a county in a town called Henderson in Kentucky. And Henderson used to be a Democratic county, but it was a traditional coal mining county and had becoming more and more red. I think in 2019, in my first governor's race, I won it by maybe 3 points. And I thought maybe that would be the last time a Democrat won it. But pretty close to re-election in 2023, we landed the country's cleanest, greenest recycled paper mill there. 350 jobs, paying $40 an hour.
Come on.
And I remember when the owner of that company is an Australian, actually came through the Zoom to this town and said, we're creating 350 green jobs. And I watched very closely as everybody got up and applauded, because the green was the $40 an hour. And so in this county that had been trending the other way, I won by double digits. Why? Because we were creating a better life, and people could see a better life, that people aren't as political as we think that they are, but we've got to give them reason to believe. We've got to show up. We got to get dirt on our boots. We got to prove the good work that we're doing. When they see a factory and you're not there to talk about what brought it there, then they don't see who has helped to make it happen. So we've got to get out there and make our case to the American people.
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend.